Hello, everyone, and welcome to our team call. I'm super excited to see so many of you on. And really, when you are on team call, to me, it means you are serious about your business, you're open to learning and growing, and it's just amazing to see how many of you are committed and are on tonight. So thanks for taking the time to grow yourself and jump on. We have a few ambassadors who are at Leaders Retreat who are going to recap, share some of their takeaways. So I'm super excited about that. And then, of course, we can stay on at the end if anybody has any questions. I believe Jen Pollock is going first. So she is a Gold Ambassador, and take it away.
Thanks, Darcy. Thank you guys so much for letting me jump on your team call tonight too to go through all of this, because it was really an amazing time. Yep, I'm Jen Pollock, and I'm in Denver for all of you East Coasters. I got a little bit more time in the day left. I am so excited to tell you at the very beginning of Leaders Retreat, Alec Clark, our president, got on stage and he talked to us about the 10 ways to be happy, centered, and successful. And if you have a pen and paper, I'm going to go through these pretty quick, but just jot down the 10 things because it was pretty amazing. And these are going to go, like, I'm going to type them all up pretty and put them in several places around my house for my kids to see and my husband and me. So 10 ways to be happy, centered, and successful. Number 1, do not make exceptions to your standards. And he was very clear about this. You guys, we are in an amazing company with amazing products and amazing people. Do not make exceptions to your standards. I know for me, I hold myself to incredibly high standards and my kids, and I do the same thing to my customers and the people that I let into my world. So I thought that was, it was powerful that he started with that in particular. Number 2, smile and choose to be happy is what he said. Smile. And he challenged all of us to smile at least 5 people every day between now and Super Saturday. And when we smile at 5 people every day, what will that create in our world? So I challenge you all to do that as well. Number 3, be disciplined. And I love this one as well because I've got a pretty big world and tend to get sidetracked. And being disciplined is not always easy, but he was clear that building your business, you have to do what needs to be done, even on the days when you don't want to do it. So doing your IPA every day, being disciplined about that, he was very clear. Number 4, live the golden rule. And I'm assuming all of you know what the golden rule is, but you know, for the president of our company to say something like this, it was very powerful. And he's an amazing guy. And so having the golden rule plastered around my home, which I also do, it's really great to be that example for my kids. Number 5, don't complain. And we all kind of joked about this a little bit, and so did he. But he said, don't complain, whine, or make excuses. And the whine, like whining like your kids, not the wine that you need to drink. And we all kind of giggled when he said that because, you know, we all need a glass of wine every now and then, but not the wah wine that goes with it. Number 6, keep learning. And the cool thing about this one is Plexus always has us keeping learning. We're always growing. We're always looking for the next book to read, the next video to watch, learning about our products, about our company, and about ourselves. And if we're not learning, if we're not continuing to learn, we're actually going backwards. And there is no such thing as being stagnant. So we're either moving forward or we're moving backwards. So really liked that. Number 7 is look up. And I liked it when he talked about this because he had been kind of saving this in his back pocket to use, and another diamond had pulled it out to talk about it. I think at Emerald Extravaganza. Is everybody muted, or is that me making that background noise? Can anybody hear that? Okay, there we go. Look up. And what that means is we all are pretty attached to our social media and our phones. But when we're out and about in front of people, we really need to be looking up. We need to be looking up and out. He also said, don't be scared to look all the way up every now and then. And I really love that about him. Number 8, set goals and write them down. My first thought when he said that was a dream board, and that's what he ended up saying eventually, is that he's a big proponent of a dream board. And if you don't have a dream board, I highly recommend, as we're thinking about the end of the year here and moving into next year, dream boards are incredibly powerful visualization tool. So as you set your goals and write them down to finish out this year and what you want for next year, I would highly recommend a dream board. Number 9 is be humble. And I've never met two people, Alec and Charles, running a company like Plexus that are as humble as they are. And we all have something to learn from people like that. Number 10 is serve others. And we all know that Plexus is all about if you are blessed, be a blessing. And serving others is what we are all about and what we do. So I challenge you to find what works for you and where you want to be a blessing, and make sure that that's part of your daily and weekly life. So that's that. In a nutshell, that's what he talked about, the 10 ways to be happy, centered, and successful. So I want to pass it off now to Jenny, and she's going to be talking about the next step of what we learned at Leaders Retreat. Thanks, guys.
Jenny, you're muted.
And I was just telling everybody to check and make sure they weren't muted. So Leaders Retreat was amazing. I spent some time at Darcy's house this summer, and she sent me home with this book. And this is exactly what I'm going to go over. It's the 5 levels of leadership, and that's what John Maxwell talked to us about. So it was amazing to read it. And it was so empowering and powerful to actually hear it come from him. I'm going to look down a lot because he had a lot to say, so I don't want to miss anything. But I highly recommend that all of you take the time to find that 5 levels of leadership book. It's amazing. He started by talking about a lid, and he explained it as, if you have a lid here and you're leading, at like a 4, you're just kind of moving along and you're going in, and you have a lid there, you can't go any higher. Well, guess what? If you're the leader and you have people down here, where are they going to go? They're not going to go any higher either. So until you get rid of that lid and you keep growing yourself and growing yourself and growing yourself, nobody under you is going to grow that high either. We need to grow ourselves every single day. He talked about we don't want to microwave our leaders. We want to crock pot them. We don't want to hand somebody all these tools and say, okay, next week, this is it. This is what you're going to do. It's a lifelong journey. We need to do this every day. He wrote a book years ago called Developing the Leader Within You. He told us he revised it, and he said, what I mean by revised is it's 80% new. And he just said that goes to show you that, even himself has grown so much, as a leader, that he's had to rewrite a book because, he wanted to give us the words that he, lives by now. So that was really, really interesting. So for the 5 levels, the first one is your position. And this is where people follow you because they have to. When you sign someone on, you're giving them the where to go and what to do, and and they're there because they have to, because you're showing them the way. I was amazed to hear that 80% of people stay at this level and don't go any higher, which amazed me. Level 2 is permission, and this is where you're building relationships, and people are starting, they want to be with you by your side now, and things that you need to do well at this level are listen well, which we talk about all the time. When we're talking, to a potential, listen to what they have to say, what their wants are, what their needs are, observe, see what's going on around them, and serve. And with that, you just have to be able to work well with others. It amazed me how much, these pertain to what we do every day. And level 3 is production. You need to be successful yourself to be a leader. If your team sees you as successful, they're going to strive and want, what you have. You have to lead by example. If you're not, doing your IPA, and you're not, striving for that 3 and 3 that we talk about, we always should be trying to add 3 new ambassadors and 3 new customers. And, if we're not doing that ourselves as leaders, it doesn't make our downlines strive for that. It says success increases morale. He said that 80% of businesses can be solved by momentum. Like if we keep the momentum going, like if there's something going on and you're like, oh, it's tough, but if you keep that momentum going, it'll come, and you attract better people. I loved about how he talked about, smiling and being positive and not being negative, and, portraying that part of us. And when you're smiling and you're being positive, and people want to be around you, and that's what you want. Level 4 is people development. And so this is where now they're following you because what you've done for them. Have you shown them the way? Have you given them, an example to follow? Have you, been positive? And so now they're following you because what you've done for them. I know that, along with all of you, our uplines on this team are amazing. And I'm going to get a little emotional. At Leaders Retreat, it was so crazy. From Emily Finnell all the way down to me. There was a couple of us there that were at the bottom of this totem pole. We were all together at the dance floor. We were all together before drinks. And this team is amazing. And, I want to be like those ladies. And Jamie and Darcy and Abby, you guys, you have been amazing. And, I want to be around these people. And you have to be that type of person too, for your team to want to be around you. Develop them as a person. So, and he talked about positioning people, where their strengths are. If you can make people on your team do something that they're good at to be part of it, maybe somebody would never get on here and talk in a million years, but they're really good at graphics. Have them make a graphic, so put them where their strengths are. Are they information, can they type up papers? Just find your team's strengths and plug them in and make them part of your team. This was really, really cool. He said, equip them well. And there's 5 steps to this. I do it, and you are with me. You do it, and I am with you. You do it, and you do it, and someone else is with you. We do that. That's, our 3-way calls, our messages, our, to learn how to do that that spoke volumes to me. And the last one was Pinnacle, and it's respect. And it says they follow you because of who you are. If you do 2, 3, and 4 well, your team's going to put you at that level of respect and put you there. One really quick thing I want to tell you, and it's on one of the other pages, and I'll share it after. But I was doing some research earlier on John Maxwell, and he has a Minute with Maxwell. It's free. You can go to that link, and maybe some of you have already done this. I don't know how many times it's been reposted, or and just click on that, and you will get a message from John Maxwell every day. So, as we talk about, being positive, click on that link. It's going to give you, that positive message for the day, and to start your day off with that would be awesome. And now you're probably wondering why some of you know who this guy is and some of you don't. It's my husband, Scott. He went to convention with me, and he went to Leaders Retreat with me. And now he's part of our team. So he's going to talk a little bit about how Leaders Retreat influenced him. Come on.
Hey, everyone. I'm really, really excited to join this fantastic team. Like Jenny said, I went to Leaders Retreat, and, and it was just, I'll touch on that in a little bit, but I want to talk about belief today. And belief with what Ronnie Coach Cuevas had to say about belief. Okay, he was the first male Diamond ambassador in the company. Okay, he started in the company because his wife signed him up. And he was like, well, I'm retiring from football. He goes, maybe I can make $450 a month to help pay for my health insurance. Well, today he's a Diamond ambassador. I mean, can imagine what they make, right? So, he was retiring as a football coach, and he always made goals for himself, okay? So he makes a goal, and he sets a deadline, and he works towards that deadline, okay? So Coach believes it's just a dream if you don't set a deadline. So you should be always setting a deadline for your goals, all right? You have to have belief. You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in the products, and you need to believe in the company. For me, belief in the products came very quickly. I watched how they changed my wife's life. She got so much better so quick. I couldn't believe it. So then she took me to convention. And so we went to convention, and I couldn't believe the amount of people that were at convention. In 2011, there were 248 people at convention. This year at convention, there was around 12,000. You cannot believe the amount of money that this company spends on their ambassadors. You guys if you haven't been to convention yet, you need to go. Your belief, you should bring your significant other with you, and they should go to some of the trainings and stuff. It'll be unbelievable. You just can't even imagine the amount of money they spend on their people and how they treat everybody in this company. Okay, so what Coach had to say, Coach didn't have any tools. He had no tools when they first started. We have all the tools, and we are in the right place in the right time. Okay, so that's what Coach had to say. And now I'm going to pass on to Abby Wallach. She's going to tell us a little bit about a new product.
Sorry, guys, I had to unmute myself. First of all, I am so super pumped to welcome Scott to the team. He is going to be awesome. This is so exciting. So I am going to talk to you guys tonight about the new X Factor for Kids multivitamin. I swear to you that I personally willed this vitamin into existence, like sheer will. I love X Factor, and I was always a little bit bummed that they never methylated the chewable. I am one of those, they say 40%, but it's closer to like 60% of the population that have MTHFR gene mutation. Most of you know what that is, but for those of you who don't, it is when your body cannot properly methylate synthetic folic acid. So back in the 90s, the FDA decided that we weren't getting enough folate in our diet. So instead of saying you guys should eat more vegetables, they said, well, we're just going to add it to every product out there that can be man-made. So bread, cereals, things like that. So they added folic acid along with a bunch of, niacin, a bunch of other B vitamins to enrich or fortify breads or cereals. Well, lo and behold, come to find out, most of the population cannot properly convert synthetic folic acid into something that the body can use. It's called MTHFR gene mutation. What we can use is methylfolate. And there are not a lot of vitamins that have methylfolate, but X Factor does. And now X Factor for Kids does. And so my biggest thing was I don't want to give my kids the Plexus vitamin chewables because it used folic acid, which a lot of vitamins do. So I was having to untwist the cap, trying to disguise it in Gwen's applesauce or whatever she was taking. I mean, it's not very tasty to eat like the contents of a vitamin capsule. She always knew. She was always on to me. So it was hard to get them to take those vitamins. This vitamin is absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. I am so excited. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. First of all, this Plexus takes their quality control very seriously. So all of our products are third-party tested. They test for pathogens, heavy metals, contaminants. They do all of that. And so this is no exception. So the quality control, of course, is outstanding. But they did their research and they found out what kids needed and what kids were missing. So what they found was that 1 in 3 kids have one fast food meal a day. 1 in 3 kids every day eat fast food. 1 in 3 kids are obese or overweight. They did research. They saw that 70% of kids were not getting enough vitamin D, 60% not enough vitamin E, 25% not enough vitamin A, and 40% knowingly have MTHFR. This is if you're tested for it, and not a lot of doctors know about it. So if they don't know about it, they're not going to test kids for it. So 40% have MTHFR, but the numbers are probably much higher. If the parent has it, the chances are very likely that the kid's going to have it too. So they also knew that back in 2010, there were 74 million antibiotic prescriptions. That the statistic comes out to be 1 per child back in 2010. That is crazy because we know that antibiotics are, while sometimes necessary, yes, are often way overprescribed and they wreak havoc on the microbiome. So that creates dysbiosis. So dysbiosis is going to, that's when there is a imbalance of bad microbes to good microbes. The bad microbes are kind of taking over. So that's going to cause weight gain, poor mood, and poor immune health in children. So what Plexus did is that they beefed up, they took that chewable and they beefed it up. So we have 13 essential vitamins in the most bioactive form, which means that your body does not have to go through a series of multiple complicated steps to methylate those vitamins so that the body can recognize them and use them. these vitamins are already in that bioavailable, bioactive form, and the body can use them right away. And they also added, this is exciting, they also added probiotics. So it is a 2-in-1. You get probiotics and you get the vitamins. So the probiotics that were added were, it's a 4 billion CFU count, which is great. They're clinically studied probiotics. We have, hold on, I have to read them because I know it's Lactobacillus acidophilus is one of them. And then Bifidobacterium is another one. And Lactobacillus rhamnosus and Bifidobacterium lactis. So 4 billion CFUs, clinically studied probiotics. These are non-GMO. There are no artificial dyes, no artificial flavors, no artificial sweeteners, no sugar, no added preservatives, no common allergens, which is amazing. Gluten-free, 100% vegetarian, and clean. So they're pretty outstanding. They use xylitol and erythritol to sweeten the tablets, and I already emailed customer service about them and just asked, curious, why did they choose, because those are sugar alcohols, why did they choose sugar alcohols? And they said that they selected those ingredients for maximum efficacy to substitute the sugar, and the quantities of those are incredibly minimal. And they are delicious. Like, my kids love them. I tried one. It was good. They're good. Your kids are going to like them. They're going to want to take them. So everything that you need to know about this multivitamin, including how to share it, is in your back office under shareables and under tools. It is going to give you, the product information sheet is going to give you exactly each ingredient that is in there and exactly what it does for a child's body, which is pretty awesome. And I think that's all I have to say about that. And I'm going to pass it over to Andrea.
Thank you, Abby. Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome. Sorry for my lighting. I look like I'm in a dark closet, but as long as you can hear me. So I am going to talk about all of the fun stuff that we did at Leaders Retreat, and it was amazing. I think Abby is the only person that can make talking about ingredients and a multivitamins probably sound more exciting than the fun stuff that we did, but I'm going to try to make it really exciting. But I am pumped about the new children's chewable as well. It's really awesome. So, okay, it's kind of ironic that I'm talking about this because I will be honest with you. When I started my Plexus journey and I started sharing and I started kind of growing a business, things like the trips and the fun events were not something that really compelled me to share. I've always been driven by helping people, and I think honestly part of me, I never wanted people to have an idea that, I had an ulterior motive, that I was doing this for the money and for the events and for all the excitement. So, and I think a lot of us feel like that. Like, we don't really give ourselves the credit to think like we deserve something like this. And for me personally, I worked for 8 years in the same job as a physical therapist at my last full-time job, which I loved. I love my job as a PT, don't get me wrong, but I joked about this earlier with somebody. I mean, we used to get excited when there was cold pizza in the break room for us. And we'd be like, yay, there's pizza. They did nice things for us once in a while, but we worked our butts off. And, we did that job because we loved patients and we loved caring for people. But the Plexus, like Scott touched on, they go above and beyond in so many ways. I mean, it's just, I was blown away by the attention to detail, everything that they do for you when you're there. And I've been with this company for a year, and I'm like, how am I at a trip like this? How did I earn a trip like this in a year when I worked for my last job for 8 years and got cold pizza. So a couple of the things that we did, the first night we had a welcome reception. It was catered. It was Havana Nights themed, which was kind of fun. People dressed up in Cuban dresses and got all dolled up. And again, like my life, I'm a stay-at-home mom now, and I work per diem as a physical therapist, and I do Plexus. But my attire is yoga pants and a sweatshirt. So it was really fun to just get dressed up, to feel good about yourself. And then, so we had that was the first night. The next morning there was something called Consistency Club Breakfast. So if you had been working your business and consistently adding people, you were invited to that, and you could bring a guest. So a lot of us were able to attend. Beautiful, everybody dressed in white, totally catered, amazing. They were passing pink drinks. Did those have champagne in them? I think they did. I don't know. Anyways, they were passing pink drinks through this big wall that you could just go. It was like I don't know, you probably saw pictures of it. It had flowers and greenery on it, and you just walked up and grabbed your pink drink. It was kind of like, I don't know. It was delicious. And then later on that day, we had trainings throughout, which were already talked about, and that was amazing. But then later on that day, we had the Disney and Universal Studios trip. So a lot of the leaders in the team earned this trip, Darcy and Jamie on our team, and they were able to bring guests along for the trip. So basically, if you earned Leaders Retreat, which this in and of itself is great, you can bring 3 guests with you. So all you pay for is your plane ticket and your family's plane ticket. You can bring anybody, and they are able to stay at the Gaylord Palms Resort. They can come to some of these events as a guest. So if you were to earn the Disney or Universal Studios trip, you could bring 3 people with you. So a lot of people brought their families. They brought their spouse and their kids. And if you didn't bring your families, you could bring other people. So a big group of us, this was probably the highlight for me for the events, were able to we went to Universal Studios and rode the rides and had dinner and drinks and just had some fun adult time. It was just, it was amazing. And then the Saturday morning, we had the 5K breast cancer walk, another event that Plexus does every year. They started out as a breast cancer company, breast cancer awareness with the breast detection kit. And so they always do that every year to raise awareness, and all of the money that they get from the walk for each person that's walking goes towards breast cancer research. So it's something that they've stayed true to, despite changes with the products and sort of some of the focus of the company. They've always done that, and it was just an amazing feeling again to walk with all of the people. I mean, we were a mass sea of pink T-shirts walking together. A lot of cancer survivors among us. Katrina was one, and it was just I was just welling up with tears, just the feeling of being surrounded by that group of people. And then, of course, we had the last night, the Halloween party, which was super fun. Everybody dressed up. It was pirate themed, but people could wear anything. And I haven't been to a Halloween party in years, I think since college, with adults. So it was just a lot of fun. They had a DJ outside. Inside, they had a live band, food. Everything was done to the nines. And we just all had a really good time. So, to go along with the events piece and the parties and that excitement, I think for me the best part is the relationships and the friendships that you build doing this. When I started this business, I had no idea how close I would get to some of these people that I feel like I can call. There's like, I don't even know, 10 of you on here right now maybe, and I don't know all of you really well, but I could call you at any time if I needed anything. And I know that I would have somebody to talk to, the support. And when you go to these events, I've always in the past had a little bit of social anxiety being around people that I don't know really well, feeling like I don't fit in, or I know, you know, everybody struggles with that to a certain extent, I think, when you're outside of your comfort zone. But being there, I was kind of nervous that I don't know how I'll feel, if I'll fit in with these diamonds and these other people that have been doing this business for a long time. But you can talk to anybody. You can talk to a diamond or a silver ambassador, and everybody makes you feel welcomed, comfortable, like you belong there. Everybody is like-minded, positive, kind. Everybody loves Plexus. So you don't feel like anybody's staring at you like, oh, the crazy Plexus lady or man. Sorry, Scott. So it's just, I just left there feeling re-energized. And to be on a little trip like that, period, we are all so busy with our lives. We are always taking care of people, our families. And so to earn something like this, to be rewarded for your hard work, it just feels so good. It just, we all deserve this. Like, people deserve to be rewarded like this, and Plexus knows how to make their ambassadors feel good. So I would encourage all of you for next year to make this a goal for yourself. I know when I found out it was in Florida at the end of October, living in Maine, that too. So usually it's in a warm place, but I hope you guys will all be there next year and put it on your goal list to be there, because it's really an amazing experience. All right, and now Katrina is going to talk and share some of her big takeaways from the trip.
All right, can you hear me? Okay. So I was going to talk about how I felt when I walked away from Leaders Retreat thinking a lot and not knowing what had just happened to me, because it was intense, and not intense. It was intense in a really good way. I set my goal to go to Leaders Retreat. Honestly, I was not sure I was going to make it. I worked my tail off to get there, and it's not, I mean, there were a handful of gold and silver ambassadors there, and you have to work pretty hard to get there, but the benefit was unreal. I walked away feeling like I had a jetpack on my back that was going to send my business up into space because of the excitement and the friendships. I mean, I know people on the team, but I hadn't spent a lot of time with them. Everybody that went, I think everybody that went was in Vegas. So I had gone to Vegas with them, but it's crazy because we were dancing on the floor at the pirate party with like Jillian Norman, you know, like big names, people you see and you're like, oh my God, did you see her video? It's incredible. She's so cool. How did she do this? And we're like dancing side by side like normal people. And I walked away thinking, I knew I could do it. I'm not somebody that has self-doubt, but there was part of me going, oh my God, I just don't see how I'm going to fit this into my life or whatever. There are little bits of me that were wondering how I can make this work, and I want it, and I know I want it, but I wasn't like full steam ahead. And I literally got to the airport. Jen Pollock and I went to the airport together. We Ubered together. And I got to the airport and I was by myself, and I had been processing all weekend. I had barely posted about it. It was intense. I got to the airport and I made my list Darcy's been telling me to do for a year now, Sunday through Saturday, and I wrote down 5 names on every day, and I just hit the ground running. And I just saw the light. Going to the Leaders Retreat made me see how possible this is for anyone and for myself. the people there are normal people, and we see them on the videos, and you know, they're people that have more product knowledge or know how social media works better or are more socially adept. And I knew I could do this, but I looked around at these people that I danced on the dance floor with or had a meal with or stopped by while I'm sitting at a table and just chatted with me, and they were totally normal, totally regular people. And I walked away knowing that not only do I want this, and I know I deserve it, and I know I can do it, but I walked away understanding that I will do it and how to do it. You're rubbing elbows with people who have done this before, and the little tidbits as you walk by somebody, I can't even begin. I've started really processing all the little suggestions and all the little tips that I've gotten, and it has completely changed my business. In how many days were we there? For 4 days, and my business is completely changed. So the point of what I was going to cover was, why do you want to make it to Leaders Retreat and other gatherings that Plexus has? And it builds your belief. It builds your belief in the company, in the products, in the integrity of the company, and in yourself in a way that I just hit the ground running. And my next stop, Senior Gold, and then I am blasting past that. I told Darcy a long time ago, I'm not a gold girl. I really am not really into red either. I'm really going to shoot for Emerald's my first real stop, because I like blue and green, I mean, and then sapphire blue, and then, but diamonds are really my thing. So I walked away going, I can do this, and I will do this. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, everybody else on the team that went, you know, it felt like we all just saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and it made a direct path for me to realize that there is no reason why I can't do this. And the path is really, really clear. So it may seem like a really tough, I mean, next year Leaders Retreat, you've got a while to build your teams, start working on it, and you can get there. We have Super Saturday, definitely make it to that. I heard it all about last year's. I didn't make it to last year's. I made it to convention. That was amazing. Leaders Retreat, it just puts it in a whole new category. And if you want to make this your business, make it to these events, because it builds your belief and it builds your willpower to make it happen. So there's nothing like it. I don't know.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing tonight. So awesome. So yeah, we will, everybody's going to Super Saturday then, basically. That's what Katrina just sealed the deal, that we are all going to carpool wherever you can and get to a Super Saturday location. Anyway, thanks everybody for hopping on tonight. It is amazing. Leaders Retreat is absolutely amazing. So yes, it is on your list for next year, all of you. And thank you all for sharing and taking time to share about it. And we will see you all next Tuesday. Good night, everybody.